You're watching Tech TV. You're watching Tech TV.
Hello and welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a program that talks about the breeding of terrorism and its impact on South Asian nations. Let's begin with the headlines first. Deadly grenade blast jolts Jammu. Hizbul Mujahideen terrorists arrested for the blast. Pakistan fakes crackdown on terror organizations under global pressure. 4 Kashmiri civilians dead as Pakistan continues ceasefire violation at LOC. Several blasts jolt Afghanistan amid ongoing peace talks. And Pakistan skips OIC meeting, faces embarrassment in absentia. In less than a month after the deadly Pulwama attack, India suffered through another blow on its land when the state of Jammu and Kashmir rocked this week by a grenade explosion that left a teenager dead and at least 32 injured at a crowded place in the heart of the Jammu city. The explosion once again revealed the nefarious designs of ISI against India, since the attack has been carried out by the terror group Hizbul Mujahideen, which runs on the aids and support of ISI Pakistan. Islamabad's repeated attempts of unleashing havoc in Jammu and Kashmir reflects its unchanged attitude towards terrorists, making it difficult for India to trust Pakistan's claimed endeavours of peace talks, a report.
A loud grenade attack jolted Jammu city this week that left 1 person dead and many injured. The attack was carried out by a Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist who was arrested by the Indian security forces in the same evening of the blast. The grenade attack comes weeks after the Pakistan-backed Jaish-e-Mohammed killed 40 paramilitary police in Pulwama district of Kashmir.
जैसे दुकान पे पहुंचा वैसे यहाँ पे एक बहुत ही धमाकेदार आवाज आई और उस आवाज को सुनते ही मतलब ऐसा लगा कुछ यहाँ टायर फटा, यहाँ कोई धमाका हुआ। उसके 2 मिनट बाद पता लगा यहाँ पे ग्रेनेड फटा। मैं आया यहाँ पे देखा, मैंने 10-12 लोग बुरी मतलब कि 3-4 लोग तो ज्यादा तरीके से जख्मी थे।
As Jaish-e-Mohammed is a terror group based in Pakistan, similarly Hizbul Mujahideen, the terrorist group responsible for the Jammu grenade attack, is also trained and funded by the ISI Pakistan. The connections are indicative of the fact that despite its stall claims of wanting to establish peace with India, Pakistan's military and ISI will continue to hatch their vicious plans against Jammu and Kashmir that ultimately harms the innocent civilians.
बस स्टैंड में खड़े काउंटर पे गाड़ी लगी तो आवाज दे रहे हैं अमृतसर तो मैं साथ में पर्ची लेने गया तो पर्ची जहाँ लेने गया उधर ही हो गया कुछ।
हमारे पास 33 पेशेंट्स आए हैं जिनमें एक पेशेंट की डेथ हुई है।
This was the third grenade attack at the Jammu bus stand since May 2018. Pakistan-backed terrorist organizations are always looking for the chances to either send infiltrators into Jammu and Kashmir or to detract the gullible youth of Jammu and Kashmir onto the path of violence. Yasir Javed Bhatt, a resident of Khanpora Dasi village in Kulgam, was tasked by Hizbul Mujahideen to carry out the attack. Bhatt informed the police that he came with a grenade to Jammu to carry out the attack and was fleeing after the attack while he got arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police.
In the preliminary interrogation, he has revealed that he was tasked to throw this grenade by the district commander of Hizbul Mujahideen in Kulgam by the name of Farooq Ahmed Bhatt alias Umar.
The frequent attacks in India unleashed by the Pakistan-based terror organization show that Pakistan government holds no authoritative powers over the terrorist groups who are enjoying safe havens in Pakistan. And no matter what, these terrorist groups will keep functioning freely under the very nose of Islamabad.
Amid mounting global pressure, Pakistan has yielded to take steps against its homegrown terrorism. The country has launched a crackdown on Islamist terrorist groups by detaining members of UN proscribed terror organizations. However, Pakistan's bigotry was exposed when it refused a visa to UN team seeking to investigate Hafiz Saeed, a norm followed by UN in order to delist anyone from its United Nations Security Council's 1267 sanction list. A report. Giving in to a mounting global pressure, Pakistan has reportedly launched a crackdown against the terrorists it once fed and grew. It has detained 44 members of banned organization, including close relatives of Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar. Playing flip-flop on presence of Jaish-e-Mohammed terror outfits on its soil, Pakistan has been persistent in its attempts to save Masood Azhar from global scrutiny.
आतंकवाद के खिलाफ उन्होंने कोई कदम नहीं उठाया है, ठोस कदम को तो छोड़ो, कोई एक कदम भी नहीं उठाया है। जो उठाया वो हमने उठाया है, तो बात करने का मौका ये सही नहीं है। अगर वो करना चाहते हैं तो उन पर भी हमको स्पेसिफिक शर्तें लगाओ कि आप हाफिज सईद को, अजहर मसूद को, दाऊद इब्राहिम को, सलाहुद्दीन को हमारे हवाले करो।
Pakistan is facing pressure from global powers to act against groups carrying out regular attacks in India, including Jaish-e-Mohammed, which claimed responsibility for the Pulwama terror attack that killed at least 40 Indian paramilitary personnel. It has also placed two charities linked to Hafiz Saeed, the chief of UN-designated terror outfits, on the country's official banned list. More recently, a proposal moved by Hafiz Saeed seeking removal of his name from a list of recognized terrorists was rejected by the UN Security Council.
There is no doubt that the global community is aware of Hafiz Saeed's involvement in various acts of terror, including the Mumbai attack, and global community is not foolish to absolve him of that responsibility, and consequently his plea has been rejected.
The rejection of his plea came after Pakistan denied a visa to UN team seeking to interview Hafiz Saeed in person before considering to delist him from the UNSC 1267 sanction list.
Pakistan has been trying to obstruct any investigation into the activities of these terror organizations which have been funded and supported by Pakistani institutions, and Hafiz Saeed is one of them. So Pakistani government will try and obstruct, delay whatever is being done by the international community.
Fearful of Hafiz Saeed's interview that could reveal some incriminating evidences against the country and terror organizations operating on its soil, Pakistan shielded the terrorist under its gambit of crackdown. By denying the visa to UN team, Pakistan has yet again proved its duplicity and abetment to the global terrorism rearing from its soil. The consistent attempts of Pakistan to disrupt peace in India continue even as it is facing harsh criticism from across the world for Pulwama terror attack. With the passage of time, the cross-border terrorism by Islamabad has only increased rather than decreasing. The intense shelling and firing at Kashmir border has become a daily practice of Pakistan Army. Islamabad, that fakes itself as a Masiha of Kashmiris, recently killed 4 Kashmiri civilians as a showcase of its aggression towards Indians. In addition to borders insurgency, Pakistan has also not displayed any change in its attitude towards terrorists even after being repeatedly warned by India and global powers to curb terrorism on its soil. We bring you a report.
Since the deadly Pulwama terror attack on 14th of February 2019, Pakistani forces have been regularly violating ceasefire along the line of control. The unprovoked ceasefire violation by Pakistan Army are not only targeting the Indian forces but have also led to severe casualties to civilians living around the border area.
मतलब 9 और 9:15 का टाइम था, 9:30 का टाइम, जिस टाइम बहुत ही ज़्यादा शेलिंग होने लगी, तो हम अंदर कमरे में सो रहे थे। तो इतने में सर, जैसे मैं एक कमरे में सोया था, मेरे बच्चे डर गए, तो उन बच्चों को उठाया, मैं मतलब तो कच्चे वाले कमरे में भागा मैं। जैसे मैं एक कमरा, मैंने दरवाज़ा खोला, मैं अंदर दाखिल होने वाला था, इतने में सर ये मतलब शेलिंग हुआ, मतलब ये बम गिरा। तो सर ये पूरा मकान तबाह हो गया, जिसमें एक बच्ची थी, एक बच्चा था, तो एक उसकी माँ थी।
Pakistan, that claims to be a peace-loving state, has not stopped shelling at the LOC for even one single day after the Pulwama attack. It has violated the ceasefire agreement at the borders for more than 60 times by targeting forward posts and villages along the line of control in Akhnur, Poonch and Rajouri sector of Jammu and Kashmir. Even though Pakistan claimed to release Wing Commander Abhinandan of Indian Air Force as peace gesture, but there is hardly any peace visible at the borders from the Pakistani side. Ever since India retaliated against Pulwama terror attack, Islamabad's intent to continue attacks across the Indo-Pak borders has grown even stronger. The continuous firing by Pakistan Army is aimed at its repeated attempts of sending infiltrators into India in order to execute its malicious terror plans to unleash instability in India.
Every ceasefire violation is intended to push in infiltrators. Pakistan is on the back foot, their morale and motivation has dropped both across the border and within Kashmir. Hurriyat has been taken control of, Jamaat-e-Islami has been banned, with the result overground workers are no longer helping Pakistan to the extent that they were helping earlier. To somehow or the other increase their morale and motivation, Pakistan is increasing the number of ceasefire violations, hoping that they'll be able to push in infiltrators.
Bullet holes spread on the walls of houses in Poonch district tell the story of various families living in Jammu and Kashmir who have lost their loved ones because of endless ceasefire violations by Pakistan in Kashmir. These families are forced to live in constant fear because of the continued mortar shelling by Pakistan forces. Poonch district is not the lone sufferer of cross-border firing, but there are many other districts across the LOC that are constantly at the targets of Pakistani forces.
लोग अपने घरों में डरे हुए हैं। लोगों का यही कहना है कि हम घर से बाहर जाएंगे, हो सकता है वापस घर आए ना आए, रास्ते में कुछ हो जाए, क्योंकि कोई पता नहीं किस टाइम फायर हो जाए। पाकिस्तान बार बार तकरीबन 8-10 दिन से लगातार कंटिन्यूस फायरिंग कर रहा है बॉर्डर एरिया। पाकिस्तान आए दिन लगातार फायरिंग कर रहा है। परसों पूरी रात मैंडर के कृष्णा घाटी सेक्टर में की, कल दिन को दिगवार सेक्टर में की, उसके बाद रात को शाहपुर सेक्टर में फायरिंग की। और लोग अपने घरों में डरे हुए हैं। लोगों का यही कहना है कि या तो हमें यहाँ से निकाल के कहीं सुरक्षित जगह पे ले गया जाए, तो या हमें बैंकर बना के दिए जाए।
Pakistan has been increasingly violating the 2003 ceasefire agreement with India, despite repeated calls made during Indo-Pak flag meetings to maintain restraint and adherence to the ceasefire understanding. The year 2018 witnessed the highest number of ceasefire violations by Pakistan troops in the last 15 years. And the Pulwama bomb blast at the very onset of the year 2019 shows that Pakistan is far from maintaining any restraint from its side and will continue to hamper peace in India even after receiving global condemnation from across the world.
Moving on to Afghanistan, where the spate of terror continues as militant attacks rock the capital city, Kabul, and two other provinces of the country. Islamic State, allied with Pak-backed Taliban, has claimed responsibility for the three attacks, creating mayhem across the country. Deadly assaults on Afghan security forces and the top political heavyweights come amid marathon peace talks led by US bringing Taliban on the negotiating table, a report. In a latest attempt to destabilize the country, militants carried out a mortar attack in Afghan capital Kabul, killing 11 and leaving several injured. The mortar attack targeted a large political gathering attended by Afghanistan's top leaders and executives. However, no high-ranking official was reportedly hurt. The mortar shells were fired from a house in the Kabul Police District 18, with security forces acting to detain one of the assailants after cordoning off the house.
ما محترم در داخل مسلح بودیم فهمیدی؟ اول که بسیار یک صدای انفجار سبوکک در گوش خورد، مردم ها باز گوش بلند شدن که چی گپ بود. بسیاری گفت یک نارنجک کدام گپی نیست. باز همی در دومی بسیار انفجار قوی شد. وقتی که دومی بسیار انفجار قوی شد مردمان دیگه رو فرار شد.
This act of horror and violence came soon after Islamic State militants attacked a construction company office in Jalalabad city of Afghanistan, killing 16 employees and leaving many injured. The attack started with a suicide explosion ripping the entrance of the company situated close to the provincial airport where Afghan and American forces were stationed. As per accounts of Ataullah Khogiani, a spokesman for the provincial governor, the explosion was followed by 4 armed attackers wearing suicide vests entering the compound and shooting at employees of the company. Prompted by the gunshots, Afghan security forces stationed at the near airport swung to action, engaging the militants in a gunfight lasting more than 5 hours. All 5 attackers were killed in the gunfight and injured employees were rushed to the nearest hospital.
یو ساختماني شرکت د شوی برید له کبله انګرار سیمایي روغتون ته تر دا دمه 9 تنه ټپیان راوړل شوي. په ټپیانو کې د یو تن وضعیت د اندېښنې وړ دی، د نورو وضعیت ښه دی.
In a similar Pakistan-backed Taliban attack last week, 25 Afghan soldiers lost lives in the Helmand province of Afghanistan, where militants targeted a large military base in the southern province. The 9 militants, including 3 suicide bombers, were reportedly killed in the deadly battle against the Afghan military. The recent assaults on Afghan security forces comes amid the US-led peace talks with Taliban negotiators aimed at finding a solution to Afghanistan's 17-year war.
If Taliban want the same thing, they should also demonstrate that they are committed to the peace process, that they will be also ready to agree on ceasefire. That would be a good beginning for them to show that they are committed.
The ongoing discussions between the USA and Taliban are focused on 4 interconnected issues, setting a tone for further peace agreements. The 4 issues are counterterrorism, troop withdrawal, intra-Afghan dialogue and ceasefire. The US has continued to push for a ceasefire, recounting it to be the longest war in the American history that took lives of 2,400 of its soldiers. The Pakistan-backed Taliban, however, refuses to strike any peace agreement with the Afghan government, making it difficult for the US to withdraw its troops from the war-torn country. In a major humiliation to Pakistan, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation rebuffed Islamabad's demand of adding Kashmir issue to the joint declaration of the 46th session of OIC. A desperate Pakistan, which exploited all available options to snub India at the platform, suffered repeated ridicule as it failed to influence any of the member states. Its demands questioning India attending the meet as guest of honor were given no heed. In fact, the member states put all their weight behind Indian accessions, seeking an integrated and comprehensive fight against the growing menace of terrorism, a report.
The 46th session of the Council of Foreign Ministers of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, a 2-day event held in Abu Dhabi, concluded with member states discussing and resolving to combat rising hate speech, extremism and conflict in the region. With India being the guest of honor, 56 member states and 5 observer states attended the meeting. Pakistan, an influential member state in the group, which apparently grew insecure at India being invited with prestigious tag, gave meeting a miss. The junior officers who represented the country in the meeting made several failed attempts to discredit India on the pretext of their concocted stories. All its aggression and desperation were given a cold shoulder by OIC. However, the biggest blow came when OIC decided not to include Kashmir in the final draft of the session.
जो मिडिल ईस्टर्न देश हैं, मसलन सऊदी अरेबिया, भारत 19% तेल सऊदी अरेबिया से खरीदता है। अगर हम खरीदना बंद कर दें, चीन बंद कर दें, जापान बंद कर दें, इनको पता है इनके ऊपर क्या असर पड़ेगा। इसलिए ये भारत की तरफ दोस्ती के हाथ बढ़ा रहे हैं, म्यूचुअल है, दोनों को एक दूसरे की ज़रूरत है। और तभी UAE और ये सब देश भारत को इस्लामिक कॉन्फ्रेंस में उन्होंने इनवाइट किया। पाकिस्तान रोता रहे, पिटता रहे। भारत एक बड़ी भारी आर्थिक शक्ति है और सैन्य शक्ति है। इसका प्रभाव दुनिया पे पड़ेगा, वो आपको OIC में दिख रहा है।
Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, who became part of the meeting, took an indirect dig at Pakistan, saying that there were states which were involved in the funding and sheltering of the terrorists. Her statement came in the backdrop of India grieving death of 40 paramilitary soldiers who lost their lives in mid-February in suicide bombing carried out by terrorist group Jaish-e-Mohammed. It is one of those terrorist organizations that are thriving owing to constant state support from Pakistan. While stating that terrorism was destroying lives, destabilizing regions and putting the world at great peril, she urged the nations that were providing safe havens to terrorists to immediately destroy the terror infrastructure in their country.
If we want to save the humanity, then we must tell the states who provide shelter and funding to the terrorists to dismantle the infrastructure of the terrorist camps and stop providing funding and shelter to the terror organizations based in that country.
A number of countries in the OIC, including Afghanistan, Iran, Syria and Bangladesh, are in a constant battle with the terrorism. They are losing lives and properties on a daily basis owing to expanding waves of violence. Thus, the OIC Meet is an important platform for the terror-suffering countries to come together and formulate concrete steps against terrorism. Pakistan's planned absence from this important meeting directly signals towards its undecided stand on terrorism. India and Afghanistan, two neighbors of Pakistan, have been the perennial victims of terror emanating from Pakistani soil. While it has been providing moral and material support to the Taliban insurgents in Afghanistan to keep the country unstable, it has also been infiltrating terrorists across Indian territory in a bid to attack its sovereignty.
We are witnessing the terrible daily destruction in senseless terrorist violence. It is destroying lives, destabilizing regions, and putting the world at great peril. The reach of terror is growing, its lethality is increasing, and the toll it is taking is rising. In the rich diversity of Southeast Asia, in West Asia and the Gulf, in North Africa and Sahel region, in Europe and North America, in Afghanistan, Bangladesh and India, we see the terrible face of terror.
The huge takeaway of the meeting was that a predominantly Islamic grouping OIC chose India, a peaceful country in both words and actions, over Pakistan, a constant supporter and perpetrator of terrorism. Pakistan, which stood at the cusp of being isolated globally, has been hammered diplomatically as no country is willing to have its back. It was also indicative of India's extensive and multifarious diplomacy paying off with Islamic countries that have remained highly supportive of Pakistan, leaving it owing to its unrelenting support to terrorism.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We will be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Survi Sharma signing off on the behalf of the entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.